midnight, the moon set, and I was alone with the stars. I've often said that the lure of flying is the lure of beauty, and I need no other flight to convince me that the reasons flyers fly, whether they know it or not, is the aesthetic appeal of flying. Anticipation, I suppose, sometimes exceeds realization. Flying may not be all plain sailing, but the fun of it is worth the price. Those are just a few of the many inspiring words of a real American hero, just one of the many who dared to push the boundary lines for American history. She not only broke the American records, but broke them as the first woman to attempt them. They called her Lady Lindy because she resembled Charles Lindbergh. Who is this, you ask? Well, it's none other than the flying legend, Amelia Earhart. According to AmeliaEarhart.com, she was born on July 24th, 1897, in Atchison, Kansas. When she was 10 years old, she saw her first plane, which she wasn't very impressed with. As we know, as she said, it's a thing of rusty wire and wood, and it didn't look very interesting. She attended 6 different high schools in her life, but managed to graduate on time. After she graduated from Hyde Park High School in 1915, she worked in a military hospital in Canada as a nurse's aide. Amelia went to college and became a social worker. She became very interested in flying after she attended a stunt flying exhibition with her friend. She began her aviation career at age 24 in LA on January 3rd, 1921. She took flying lessons from Netta Snook. After her first lesson, she knew flying was for her. For 6 months, she saved money and bought her first airplane. It was a Kenner Airstar, which was a 2-seater biplane, painted bright yellow. She named the plane Canary. On October 22nd, 1922, she broke her first record, the women's altitude record, when she flew to 14,000 feet. But shortly after, in 1924, she had to sell her first airplane because of family problems and take on employment as a social worker. 4 years later, she bought an Avro Avian airplane and returned to aviation. Earhart became the first woman to make solo return transcontinental flight. From that day on, she continued to set and break her own speed and distance records in competitive events. On February 7th, 1931, she married George Putnam. He supported and promoted her as she went for her goals. He was also her publicist and met her while she wrote her first book. On an afternoon in April 1928, she received the chance to fly the Atlantic. She joined pilot Wilmer Bill Stultz and co-pilot mechanic Lewis E. Slim Gordon. Their team left Trepasine Harbor, Newfoundland, in an F-7 named Friendship. On June 17th, they arrived at Burn Point's Wells 21 hours later. This flight made headlines worldwide. They returned to the U.S., they were greeted with a ticker tape parade in New York, and a reception held by President Coolidge at the White House. From that day on, Earhart's life revolved around flying. In 1937, as Earhart turned 40, she was ready for a monumental and final challenge. She would be the first woman to fly around the world. Her first attempt went wrong and severely damaged her plane. She was determined and rebuilt the twin-engine Lockheed Electra. According to AmeliaEarhart.com, she stated, "I have a feeling there is one more good flight left in me, and I hope that this is it." Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, left Miami and began the 29,000-mile flight by June 29th. When they landed in Lake New Guinea, all but 7,000 miles had been completed. Bad maps made navigation difficult for Noonan, and their next stop to Howland Islands was by far the most challenging. They were located 3,000 miles from Leh in the mid-Pacific. Howland Islands is 1.5 miles long and 1.5 miles wide. They removed every essential item from the plane, which gave them about 274 extra miles for extra fuel. Itasca, a U.S. Coast Guard cutter, was their radio contact. It was stationed just offshore. 3 other ships were ordered to burn every light on board. They were positioned at their route markers. At 12:30 p.m. on July 2nd, the pair took off. Despite favorable weather reports, they flew into overcast skies, so Noonan's navigations were pretty much impossible. At 7:42 a.m., the Itasca picked up the last message: "We must be on you. We cannot see you. Our fuel is low, but unable to reach you by radio. We are flying at 1,000 feet." At 8:45, the last radio message from them was heard. A rescue attempt commenced immediately and became the most extensive air and sea research in naval history. On July 19th, the government called off the search after spending $4 million in scouring 250,000 square miles of ocean. Still today, there is no real answer of what happened. In a letter written to her husband, just in case the dangerous flight proved to be her last, the brave pilot was evident. "Please know I am quite aware of the hazard," she said. "I want to do it because I want to do it. Women must try to do things as men tried. When they fail, their failure must be but a challenge to others." Earhart remains a hero of all sorts today and always will.